Really don't remember the last time being a licensed realtor meant you were also a licensed lawyer, but let's talk about how much you're actually practicing law when you're doing your files. I'm Sam Hayes. This is Why with One Stop. Every property is sold as is in the contract in the RPA every single time. RPA 7B1. There's no need to add that. There's no need to add to the discussion. It just is. So requests for repairs are not a contingency of the contract because the property is being brought as is. You don't have to reiterate it. You don't have to keep bringing it up. You don't have to add it to all your documentation. Something to think about, especially when you're also negotiating. No rent back amount, there's no deposit to be given. In California, the deposit can only be twice the amount of the rent back. And if you have no rent back that the seller's getting to remain in the property complimentary, you have no grounds for a deposit. Can you ask for one? Of course. Is it something that can be discussed? Of course. Is it something that you need to know the legal ramifications of because you're now dealing with landlord tenancy? Yeah. Make sure you're getting all the information before you move forward on these things and discuss it with your client and the broker of record of the file you're working on. Deposits being non-refundable. This is a really big one where you're practicing law, and I will cite the two cases in the bottom of this YouTube video and in my email to you. It's a problem. If you are doing that verbiage, you typically want to have a broker or your legal team review it because technically it is not possible. So you're changing the terms of the contract. That's where that practicing law thing's kicking in. Emails also do not suffice. It's not enough for you to say, well, I talked to the listing agent and she talked to the seller, so it's okay. If I don't have somehow that listing agent or that seller, more that seller confirming that they have actually agreed to whatever you've put into this email, I've got no leg to stand on because it's now third party and you and that other agent, even though you've discussed this in detail, are not party to the contract. So we need to make sure that we have the parties that are to the contract, buyer and seller, signing documentation to agree to whatever was negotiated. Because without that, again, you're practicing law and you are not a lawyer. Do you know you can add an email address to a text chain? If I can't get you to do emails to communicate, I'm a big advocate. Make a phone call, wrap it up with a follow-up email saying, great to talk to you, bullet points, CC me or your TC on the record, because that way we put it in the comm log and you have documentation. Then at least add my email to your text chain with your client. I can save that in the comm log. It's not my favorite, but it's a backup step if you have somebody who will not go through emails. Remember, text is for coordination, not negotiation. It is to say, I'll see you there at 2 o'clock, I'll meet you for the appointment, but it is not for doing deep negotiations. You really want that in an email. You really want that confirmation back so we can make sure everything is properly documented in the file. Keep your documents together. If you're signing a contract and you're countering, we got to keep all those together, including the prequal, the FAA, all the different little addendums. Keeping that together is going to make such a difference. I understand you're like, oh my God, we're countering. I don't want to have them sign the whole contract. It's 5 more seconds in DocuSign. And you could save days for me, the lender, escrow, title, because we don't have all the pieces. And then we can check for missing signatures and initials, including that one for sellers on page 16 that everybody forgets to do. Because remember, if they don't initial on page 16, they haven't seen all the pages of the contract. Plus, if they don't have the whole thing together and don't initial mediation and arbitration and it's not called out in the counter, it's not part of the contract. Even though we go back and do it, a good lawyer can fight that as well. The square footage, lot size. This is a big one. I understand so many brokers want it, but here's the thing. I just had another one where somebody added added square footage and had nothing to back it up. And we've got a difference of 300 square feet between what the legal docs say and what this person told us. This is one of the biggest issues that sellers get sued upon is the difference of the square footage. If we don't have something third party to back it up, there's really no reason to get that document signed. And honestly, even CAR and in their risk management training, this is a red flag document we really need to pay attention to. Also remember, this document is a disclosure and an advisory. That means the buyer can sign it as an advisory for you to protect yourself that you've disclosed this is something they should research. But it does not have to be signed by the seller. It's actually in the bottom above their signature block and in the top. So I will do those bits and put them in the communication below so that you can see that form is not what everybody thinks it is. And I think we're going to have some potential lawsuits about it. So we're going to be really careful when using it. If you have any of our tools you were not comfortable with, DocuSign, Glide, WinForms, anything that you're using, the different software, SkySlope, whatever your broker is, let me know and I will make you a video and walk you through it. You have got to know your tools. Not knowing your tools at this point, especially anything electronic, your emails, how to attach things, how to split PDFs, you're not going to make it in the next couple of years. You have got to make sure your tech is on point. I'm here to help. Please let me know what I can do. As always, verify everything with the broker of record. Thank you so much for having me on the team. Call with any questions, even if I'm not the TC on the file. I'm Sam Hayes. This was Why with One Stop, 619-993-7264. Thanks so much. Have a great day.